Hello members and welcome to another weekly update. Please as always check the other video where I talk about the overall market condition, and it's the 2nd of March when the market closed on Friday. Let's check in with some individual things I'm doing and basically thinking aloud as I'm looking more closely at certain trades and so on. Just wanted to start off with a very interesting little chart actually. It was about a penny stock. This one is Fuel Cell Energy. I'm into the energy sector this year, and while it's typically not the sort of chart I zoom in on, it's I always like to see a chart that respects it, pretty much respects its 40-week moving average here, the red line, starting from, this stock was up at 30 odd something. Now it's down at a penny. Just because it's down at a penny, that doesn't make it, doesn't mean that necessarily, of course, is, oh, that's cheap, I'm going to buy it now, because you could have said that here, anywhere. But obviously the chart is changing. And what we're about to see here is the, there's two things, there's a few things going on. First, on the weekly chart, the 40-week crossing over the 70-week. That's typically a sign of things turning. If we saw it back here, actually, there's the 40-week crossing down below the 70-week. It's starting to feel like a very long-term indicator to look at, very long-term, my proprietary sort of, trend changer. And there it is there, and that's when the trouble started. Likewise here, might be turning around again. And this is the sort of thing where, look, it's hard to get a tight stop loss on something like that, but $1.68, you know what I mean? This is, you could actually just buy the stock, and if it goes back up to 30 again, this is just like a, almost like a lottery ticket, really. But I think lottery ticket, we might have some good odds attached to it. Look at FCL on the daily chart, and now it's the 50-day and the 200. You can see. It's sort of just hanging in there above the 200, not bad. I mean, there is a sort of line of support there. If you really wanted to be precise about it, something like that. But I just thought, it's something different. And it took a while to come down, take a while to go up again, but maybe just sort of lock it away with a bit of fun money, or if some kid wants to make, has only got $20 to spend. There you go. Right, let's check in on some other things here. The overall position on my UPRO system, that's still in. The A50R just skipped down to about 30 and then bounced off it again. And that's fine. It's hard. I mean, not saying it can't happen. I mean, the only time I can think of this happening was in 1987. And it's not really resembling 1987 so far, the way that it didn't just suddenly drop below the 200-day. But otherwise, it's hard for, when the moving average is pointing up like that, yes, you can have volatility, but does it go crashing down from a position like that? I mean, it can, like I said, that's what happened in 1987. But that was quite instant. What we've had here, it's come back, it's bounced off, it's searching to find its ground. I'm perfectly happy with that trigger still being in place, for that. So that's the great thing about options. What I've done it with options is I can only lose the amount I've put in, but that's fine. That's just sort of, it's a little bit up actually still. Let's look at the pound, which is fine. Remember, pound, euro, anything that's the dollar is considered a safe haven, so any trouble starts, money goes back to the dollar, which affects every other currency, pound, euro, whatever. But as you can see, the pound's still very much on its trend line, doing fine. That one's okay. Tile, that's sort of hanging in there, doing quite fine. Didn't do too badly actually on a week with, quite a rough week. ANSS, just the same, as I was in down here, chugging along up its 50-day. This one's great, it just keeps on pushing higher. I think I stopped out of peak over just of checking in with it, yeah. So, as you can see, bad things happen below the 200, What else do we have? IMMU. Another one, that was the entry point, and up she goes looking for a double of the money and keeping that one rolling. FOM, Again, that one was stopped out here. I'm just seeing what happens next, just out of idle curiosity, really. And there you can see, you know. Let's look at oil. And this one's fine. This is very much in its uptrend. This was the pullback point on the weekly, 1180. After a very, very long-term resistance, it broke out of here, pulled back, and did my favourite thing, pulled back right on the old resistance, which is now new support, and off she goes. And this is still just a great entry point. It's what a long-term proposition for oil, you know, and everything to do with oil. This should be, you know, a good sign for that. And there you can see there's that line there, and there's that breakout pullback, and up she goes, you know. And what I'm also liking about this chart now is, again, just like I talked about with that stock here, the 40-week pulling out above the 70-week like that. Let's check in on gold. Okay, as long as it holds above the 40-week, that red line there, then, you know, we can maybe get some kind of trend going here, but it particularly needs to also break above 128. There's that resistance there. And stay in that direction instead of all this messing around like it has been doing. Bonds. This one's a bit all over the place as well, but you see what's curious about this still to me is if interest rates are supposedly going up in any meaningful measure, then this should be going up, because if you raise rates, then the rate in theory that, you know, you should be bond is going to pay more, government bonds. So interesting. And I'm not convinced that the interest rates are going to be as aggressive and fast as people are carrying on. And there's the proof of it. And the dollar. Again, if you were going to raise rate, when you typically a country raises their rates, that's good for that, stronger for the currency, and so that makes the currency go up. The dollar is still just an awful chart. Yeah, it's going to have pullbacks just like this one we saw here. It's just rubbish. I mean, that I just can't see any upwards action at all. It's really, really bad. But, you know, bullish for everything else like the pound and so on. Yeah, so that's I'd like to keep an eye on the dollar, gold, bonds. Let's also check in on copper, which is kind of the Dr. Copper. Make sure that's still on track, because that's really supposed to be the canary in the coal mine of the economy generally, world economy. And there it is. That's aggressive uptrend. So I think all is on track, and this recent spout of the market is, as you can see on the bigger chart here, really just, it got too ahead of itself, and it's finding its feet again. And as long as this stays above, at least get back above 55% for me to be comfortable in the RSI. So I'll speak to you in the crypto video.